There's this really strange, kind of persistent pattern that you see all throughout music history. It's this story that's woven from fame, from fortune, and these whispers of something, well, supernatural. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain on the mythology that connects some of the biggest stars on the entire planet. And look, these aren't just some random, fleeting rumors. We're talking about a theme that keeps coming up again and again, like this shadow narrative that follows artists all the way to the top of the charts, hinting that their success isn't just about talent, but maybe something else entirely. And that's the central mystery we're really unpacking today. Diddy, Rihanna, and a publicist's confession. I mean, on the surface, they seem like they're in completely different worlds, right? But when you start to trace this web of secrets, a story starts to emerge about power, about marketing, and about a mythology that just took on a life of its own. Let's dive in. All right, Section 1, Anatomy of a Digital Myth. First off, we've got to understand how these myths are actually born and built online. It's kind of like a modern form of folklore, being put together pixel by pixel, theory by theory. So let's start with Sean Diddy Combs. For decades, the guy has been a total lightning rod for this kind of speculation. And what's really interesting here is how all these separate little things built a much bigger narrative. You've got his bad boy logo, which always kind of flirted with this occult vibe. His music videos used all this shadowy, candlelit imagery, and whispers of these super secretive, lavish parties were all over the internet. Then there's his constant reinventions. Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Diddy. Theorists didn't just see that as rebranding. No, they framed it as a kind of ritual, like he was shedding his skin to climb to new levels of power. And here's the crucial point. This myth never needed hard proof. Not once. All it needed was to be repeated. In the world of celebrity, if enough people whisper something, that whisper can get way louder than the truth. The mystique itself becomes the reality. Which brings us right to Rihanna. When her song Umbrella just exploded, it launched her into superstardom, but it also kicked off this massive digital witch hunt. I mean, just look at how this breaks down. What she called art, online decoders were calling a ritual. Her shift to this more powerful, edgy image was seen as proof of some dark pact, especially since she was partnering with Jay-Z. Every single frame of that music video, the silver paint, the fire, the triangle poses, it was all dissected as evidence of some kind of occult initiation. And the pattern just kept going. Her later work was filled with symbols like red moons, snakes, and veils. Now, academic critics saw this as Rihanna reclaiming the dark feminine, using these old symbols of fear to express female autonomy and power. But that nuance, it was completely lost online. The internet wasn't seeing metaphors. It was seeing hexes. She was being cast in this role whether she wanted it or not.
So if this wasn't real, where did it all come from? Well, that leads us right into Section 2, Marketing the Mystery, where we explore the wild possibility that this entire mythology wasn't some accident, but that it was actually manufactured by design.
Meet Jonathan Hay. This is the guy. He was the publicist who orchestrated the leak of Rihanna's very first single. And what started as a pretty standard PR stunt to generate some buzz, well, it would end up becoming the seed for this massive, sprawling conspiracy theory that has followed her for years.
Years later, Hay basically admitted to a strategy he called mystery marketing, and it's brilliant. The method was simple, but it was devastatingly effective. Step 1, you inject the subtle, mysterious symbol into the culture. Step 2, you just step back and let the online forums and YouTube theorists go absolutely wild trying to decode it. And crucially, Step 3, you never ever confirm or deny anything. You let the mystery build, and all of that speculation, all of that debate, it turns directly into buzz, views, and attention. It's like a self-fueling fire. And listen to how Hay himself put it. The ritual wasn't happening in some secret dark chamber. It was happening right there on our screens. The whole campaign turned belief itself into the product. Every single person sharing a theory or debating a symbol was, without even knowing it, participating in the marketing. But this myth-making had a real human cost. Hay's former partner, Lauren, reflected on this time later on. She said that even though she didn't believe in any actual witchcraft, the atmosphere just felt heavy. It was as if the intense collective focus of millions of people created its own kind of energy, a spiritual gravity that was just all-consuming for everyone involved. Okay, so let's zoom out for our final section, our modern media ritual. Because this isn't really just about a few celebrities. This is about us, our culture, and the way we consume pretty much everything. So why does this accusation of witchcraft cling so stubbornly to powerful women? This is not a new phenomenon at all. I mean, you can draw a direct line from the witch trials in Salem back in 1692, where a woman's autonomy was framed as sorcery, all the way to 2007, when Rihanna's power was decoded as witchcraft. The technology changes, but the core accusation, it stays exactly the same. And social media has just poured gasoline on this fire. Just look at this. Traditional folklore, old myths, they took decades to form. Then, in the early internet age, a myth could take hold in a matter of days. But now, on platforms like TikTok, a full-blown conspiracy can be born, spread, and treated as fact in just a matter of hours. Speculation isn't looking for truth anymore, it's looking for a thrill.
So it kind of makes you wonder if we've been looking for the magic in all the wrong places. The real spell isn't some dark, occult force. It's our own unwavering fascination with mystery, with power, and with the stories we tell ourselves about the people in the spotlight.
And this is really the key to the whole thing. The true modern ritual is our collective obsession. It's the act of millions of us focusing our attention on a single narrative. And in this ritual, our attention is the worship, and every theory we share is just more fuel for a story that's become way too big and way too fascinating to ever truly end.
So in this new age where myths are literally manufactured for clicks, and your belief is just part of the marketing plan, the line between being a fan and being a participant has completely vanished. The real power isn't in the symbol, it's in our willingness to look for a secret. And that leaves us with one final question. Who or what are we really worshiping?